What up, nation? It is April 12th, Tuesday. As you guys know, yesterday, Monday, April 11th, is the first day of our off-season workout program. And, they released the pictures yesterday of everybody who showed up. And damn, dude, I gotta say, I'm fucking pumped. I'm ready to fucking get this shit started already. It's good to see, the players back in the building, and to see, this is literally where it starts, man. Yesterday was day one. I was very happy with the turnout as far as who showed up. There was a couple players that were banged up, closing out the season. And, when a lot of these veterans, especially, guys who were able to produce, it's not odd, for them to miss, the first week of the off-season workout program, or even majority of it, especially like when you got, some Pro Bowl, all pro type players. But man, pretty much everybody showed up, pretty much everybody showed up. I know that there's one particular player that didn't show up, and I'll touch on that in a second. But I was very pleased with the turnout, man. A couple players, that I was hoping to see, and I wasn't quite sure if they were going to show up, was definitely Darren Waller. I knew that he was kind of out and about, doing his thing. And, when you're a guy like him, you don't, require him to do things, to show up to everything, especially everything early on, in April. But, with a new coaching staff, a new offensive scheme, new offense, and some new teammates, man, it's great to see that these guys are buying in, you know what I mean? Or they're at least, our coaching staff has their attention to where they stop what they're doing. They're coming through, and they're going to see what everybody's talking about. And that's all you can ask for from these veteran players. Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, these guys were banged up, probably aren't going, I know Kenyon Drake for sure isn't going 100% on the field yet, but Josh Jacobs, with the whole rib injury, that's a lingering injury, and I'm sure he's not going to be going full throttle as far as, pushing himself and working out, and whatever type of drills that they're going to be having the players do. But, he's there. He's there. Chandler Jones, that was a big one. A guy, who's done it year in and year out, showing up day one, showing his leadership, showing these younger guys that, man, this is a new era, as far as our regime goes. And, these guys are willing to do, everything they need to do step by step. They're not going to be just showing up at training camp or whatever, man. Everybody's showing up on time day one. And, I think that's great. DC showing up when it's still dark outside, that's what we all love about DC. I wouldn't expect anything less. I think that, he understands, that, this year he doesn't really have, this, it needs to happen. The time is now. It needs to happen now. And, we got him, a top 3 weapon who just happens to be his homie, for this year. And, that's what we expect from our quarterback, and that's what, there's times when we want to criticize Derek Carr, when the poor decision or the turnover, fumble, whatever, but one thing you can't take away from this dude is, Derek Carr's a fucking professional, bro. He shows up. He doesn't ever fucking down our team. He never does the whole shit on social media. He's that dude, man. He's that blue collar dude who's gonna show up and put in the work. And I know that he might ignore the outside noise, but he knows that these so-called experts and analysts, they're gonna look for every way to shit on him when this whole shit doesn't work out this year. So I don't know if I wouldn't say he feels the pressure, but he just knows, he recognizes it's crunch time, and him showing up when it's still dark out, man, that's DC for you. That's DC for you. So, Jonathan Abram, Divine Diablo. Everybody was there, man. Everybody was there, and this first week of off-season workout program is to, it's to give the coaches to kind of see where these guys are at physically. They're not gonna be doing a whole lot of action out on the field that is gonna I don't think they do 7-on-7s or anything like that. They're just gonna be seeing where everybody's at and kind of just tell the players, give them a little heads up of this is the scope of stuff that we're going to look for you to do and execute in our scheme. And that's the biggest thing, is introducing the scheme, introducing the game plan, or what type of role, we could look for in each player. So that way, in the next few months, these guys can really work on those things and already get their mind focused on what they need to do. So, I think it's really important for these guys to stay, consistent with showing up to the off-season workout program. Everybody showing up day one is already a great sign, and that's what we need, because in football, these coaches, there's camaraderie that needs to be built that can't be done other than time together out there, getting to know each other. When you're coaching players, the way you get the message across to one player might not work for the next player. And the only way you get to learn these things is by spending time with them and getting to know and building these relationships. And that's what makes, a good coach, separates a good coach from a great coach, is a great coach knows how to communicate and, really bring out the best of each player. But when doing that, they're using different ways and they're recognizing the correct way to communicate to each player. That's why you got all these coaches are NFL coaches. Everybody's a great coach, but it's the relationships that they build that really separate them, to really, get them to buy in and invest into what's going on, and, to understand things, so that way come training camp, these guys don't gotta think too much. They could just play fast and they could just execute, just trust the preparation and get everything handled, man. So, like I said, I think it was a great turnout. One concerning thing was Trayvon Mullen. So Trayvon Mullen was not there. And I believe he was one of the only ones not there. I could be wrong. There could be somebody else who wasn't there, but the notable one is Trayvon Mullen. And it's a little like head scratching. I wouldn't say right off the rip it's concerning, but what makes things concerning is when Trayvon Mullen doesn't show up. There's a couple things. It's a little concerning because, first of all, the cornerback room is very competitive this year. We got Anthony Averett, we got Rock Ya-Sin. We got Nate Hobbs, who's going to be primarily on the slot, but they're going to get him work all around the field. We got a competitive cornerback room, and we just picked up two guys that are hungry and showed flashes that they can, be starters in the league. So there's one thing that kind of makes you look at it, but what kind of makes it go in a little concerning is you see Trayvon Mullen tweet that, he tweeted something like, care less what anybody think, feel or say about me, one life to live, why waste energy, there's one end goal. And it's like, man, with these young dudes, they deal with emotions a lot different than people did when I was growing up. And, everybody wants to run to Twitter, and when you don't show up and then you start tweeting shit like this, it makes me think that you not showing up is a little on your conscience and you're letting a little outside noise. Of course, the Raider Nation is going to notice that you're not there because, we have high hopes for you, Trayvon. You're coming into your fourth year, and, you've shown flashes that you can be a solid starter in the NFL, but you dealt with injuries, and, I think earlier this year he erased everything off his Instagram, that was Raiders related. And like I said, I'm old school, so a lot of this shit is funny to me, but you gotta as someone from the old school, you have to understand the new school, and this is what these younger kids do, when they're all in their feelings and they do this type of shit. You know what I mean? They start unfollowing motherfuckers. They start, tweeting little subliminal shit, and they just get real emotional with their fucking fingers, right? So, I would say when after I seen the tweet, I'm like, what's going on? But who knows, man? Maybe he did have an emergency. I heard that he said "daddy" first or something like that on Instagram, or something like that. Which could be true. Could be something. But like I said, when a lot of times when things are true, you don't tweet about it, and you don't let no outside noise get to you. Like I said, I know that Kenyon Drake is definitely not at 100%, and he was there, so that kind of throws the whole injury thing out the window, because you could still show up. You still need you're coming into a new coaching staff, and then on the defensive side of the ball, a whole new scheme, and this is time. With the NFL minimizing the amount of time these players are allowed to spend with the coaches, Trayvon needs to take advantage of every hour he can get, everything he can get. So, and like I said, there's no other real way to do it but to be in the same meetings, to be out on the field, to be in the weight room. You just can't duplicate that type of process that is mandatory for building the type of relationships you need. So, we'll see. Hopefully he shows up sometime this week. If not, hopefully we get an update. I'm sure on the next presser they will ask about that. So it'll be interesting. Another free agent that we had signed was Tashawn Bauer. D end. Just some more depth to add to the defensive line. I don't know how he will turn out. His career's a little dicey. Last year played with Minnesota and New England, so we'll see. But hopefully these coaches see something in him that they can use, and he can give us some good looks in training camp, and we'll see what happens. But man, overall, I'm pumped, man. I'm happy to see a lot of our core players, a lot of the guys that are going to be carrying the weight of our season this year. They were there, they were there. They showed up day one, and it starts right now, man. So, I think that, sky's the limit with what we got. I think that we're not done. We might be done signing players or adding, any big names until post June 1st or after Derek Carr gets an extension. So, I don't think we have the cap for anything substantial. I think if anything, they're just going to be adding more depth players, more guys to get in for camp and the offseason workout program. So, more to come. But I gotta say, man, I'm fucking pumped. I was happy to see Chandler Jones and Darren Waller there. There was rumors that Darren Waller's gonna want a new contract, and you never know with these players if they're gonna show up to camp. But him showing up day one is a great sign, and the more we can get him, Renfro, Devontae, and Carr already learning this new offense, man, it's only going to make our team that much better, man. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.